Well, hi everyone there. This is Mr. Bell there, and just making some notes there over the weekend after I got a chance to take a look at some of your work, and I'm pretty impressed with what you guys are doing. Um, and I loved your journals; they're great, and seeing your faces there was great too. Um, I do want to note. I want to make a note that I noticed around after the second week. So that's about 3 weeks ago. We're starting to see kind of a tail off a little bit of the work. So there's some of you still working, but some of you aren't submitting the work, and there's probably a couple reasons for that. And I kind of have an idea. First of all, online is not the same as being in a classroom, so it's a little bit more independent. It's a little bit harder that way. Also, the work's actually getting a little bit more difficult too. So I saw a lot of you guys understanding the mole and molar mass, but when we got into molecular formula and empirical formula, stoichiometry, and now I've just assigned the solutions. That some of that stuff's a little bit harder, and obviously, if I was there, it'd be a lot easier to teach you directly. But we're gonna get through it there. So you might also be a couple other ideas. I thought you might also be tired of doing it this way, and I can understand that online courses do have their advantages, but they do have some disadvantages. And just kind of maybe wish we were just doing this all together in class, and I understand that totally. And possibly, maybe you already figured out what your minimum mark is going to be, and maybe you said, well, it doesn't matter. I don't really need to worry about this, but I hope that's not the case. I think we still can learn some stuff there this year, and there is some stuff we really do need to get, and that's the stuff that I have assigned so far, and maybe another couple of topics, and that will really get us through and prepared for next year. So I do want you to continue, okay? I wrote a big note, and I'm going to include it. It's a little different than what I'm saying right now, but I'm going to read a little bit of it. And I decided to do this video because it'd be nice to connect with you guys a little bit, and also just kind of share with you the ideas I have here. So, and it'll be a little bit faster than reading through the whole thing. Okay. So yeah, I might just start reading this. Okay. So I agree. So there's lots of the concerns here a little bit about from this online teaching platform. It is more difficult, and it would be much easier if I could just teach it directly. There are some issues with conducting a virtual classroom. And I agree with them. And a lot of people might think this is really simple, but it isn't actually. It's not like having someone, a group of kids in front of you in a class. It is a lot different. I've taught online courses for years, and I'm pretty good at the platforms. They're a little different now. I haven't taught at them in a while, but there are, like if you're going to do this kind of like an online classroom type thing, which I'm not going to get into right now, and I'm not sure if that's the idea that we're going to do, but there's rules of etiquette you got to follow, and there's kind of serious there. Everything's out there online, so we have to be concerned about that as well. So it's not quite the same as being in a class, and so having one online at the same time, unless everyone's kind of following those rules of etiquette, being on time, being there, and a bunch of other considerations, it's not going to work great. Okay. So we're going to refrain from that for now, but I got some other ideas I think we can do. And I think we need to make an adjustment. So this week, I'm feeling that we need to all get up to date, okay, and get there. And some of you are already there. You're up to date, and that's great. And so that's a really good thing. There are mainly, like I said, some key topics we do need to do. okay, and outline them. So I've already assigned the mole and molar mass. A lot of you guys got that done. Empirical and molecular form, not as important, but it is important. It kind of reinforces that stuff that we looked at there with mole and molar mass. Stoichiometry is quite important, okay? And it's a relatively easy concept. And the thing about them, the way they describe them online in different, like on YouTube or on Khan Academy, they're a little bit different than the way I teach it. And I actually prefer the way I teach it because it's a lot simpler, okay? And Mr. Roy teaches it very similarly as well. We need to get into concentration and learn about that for solutions. We really do need to do that for next year. And then net ionic equations is an important concept in solutions as well, so that would be the next unit. So up to concentration, I've already assigned that. So we're about half to 2/3 of what we need to get done. Okay, so that's good. So if we get up to date, we're going to be a half to 2/3 of what we need to get done. We still have a month and a bit. Okay. And then finally, in the gases, we really need to look at some of the gas laws, and it's some fun stuff, and there's some neat things that we can look at there. So let's see what else. So what I was thinking for this week, I would like to assign a journal entry because I really like those. It was neat for you guys to tell me what was going on. I'm interested in what you're doing right now. If you're working, if you're at home. What you're doing there is for hobbies. So maybe what you can do is another journal article. Just tell me, just to check in, tell me what's going on, about a page. And maybe snap a couple shots of things that you've been doing. Maybe it's a hobby or a favorite memory or something like that. Something. Just remember, you are sharing it with me, so make sure it is appropriate if it is, and then insert that in with the journal. And the reason why I want you guys, and I've mentioned that quite a few times, to insert them into a Word document and change it to a PDF is that if you actually do that, and there's been a few little things. If you share it online, like through Word Online or over OneDrive, sometimes it's not easy for me to upload it, so it takes a lot longer. And I do want to mark the things as quickly as I can. If they're in separate files, it takes a lot longer to look at it all. And ultimately, if it's in a PDF, we might be able to switch platforms a little bit, and I know a little bit about this. And I can actually mark it on the screen, and you'll see it, and I'll write it. And I can actually I can mark it with my finger or a stylus or something like that. So it's very helpful for me, and it's easier to get that feedback back to you. Okay? A couple other things. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, so people who haven't done their work and are struggling or whatever the reason is, it's not a big deal. But I do want you to get up to date. Is I need you to connect with a couple of your peers, okay, and see if you can get someone who knows what's going on to help you out. And people who understand this stuff, I want you to try to connect with some of your peers that are your friends and stuff. Mainly, that's the easiest way. Just like you'd do for getting through homework and stuff, you'd ask each other, see if they're doing all right, and see if you can help them somehow. And there's a bunch of benefits with that. And I don't know if you know this. There's quite a bit of research out there that shows that when peers teach each other, they understand better. Okay. And yes, it is important to have a teacher and to kind of do the initial modeling. Okay. But after that, it's the peers that actually do most of the helping when they help each other. So the research is out there and it's clear, and I've seen it as a teacher. You do listen better to your peers than you do to your teachers often, and that's fine. We understand that, and so we'll take advantage of that. So people who are helping also, and I know this from tutoring and from teaching, you understand stuff a lot easier. Reinforce it by sharing your understanding, and so it's a really solid understanding that you get instead of just doing it on your own. And you know what? What you're doing in the end is you're gaining some skills, some vital ones that we don't always accentuate in a regular classroom, of teamwork. And you wouldn't know it, but teamwork is huge in the business world. It's huge in the regular world. It's huge in the family life. It's huge in social life. The more you can help each other and work with your benefit, with your strengths, and help others with their weaknesses, the better everything ends up being in the end. And meeting your goals is a lot easier and a lot faster and a lot more efficient, really. And then the other thing too is we know what's going to happen next year. We're going to have to review some of this stuff because you weren't taught it in class, okay? But we're not going to be able to do the whole course as a review. We're not doing that course over again, okay? So we're going to try to find creative ways to introduce some of that review and minimize it really as much as possible. And I know that when you guys do stuff online, if you really try, you will have had gained some understanding, even if it's not complete, but some understanding that you will be more of an enduring understanding. And you probably will need less review, especially if you attempt a lot of this stuff. Even if you're not as successful as you think you are, if you attempt it, you will actually be prepared to receive it at a later date, and it'll be more efficient understanding that way. It's another thing that's good about this is you get a chance to connect with your peers. I hear that in the journals, you're missing your friends. Why don't you have a chance to chat with them, okay? And see how they're doing with math, with the chemistry, I mean, okay? And I'm going to add a little thing. So people who do understand it and they do reach out, it is, they've done the work already, maybe not see a benefit that way as much. I'm going to kind of offer some kind of reward. And I haven't really decided exactly what it's going to be, but there will be some reward for you, okay? And I'll leave it at that, okay? So what I'm thinking here, this is what is the final message here, is this week is catch-up week, okay? You're going to catch up on all the stuff. You're going to make sure you're going to connect with some of your friends, make sure if you understand it, you help a few that don't. And if you don't understand it, you connect it with someone who gets it, or even is partially getting it. That would be great too. And really get up to date on those main key things: empirical formula, molecular formula, stoichiometry, and starting into concentrations. And this is for the college and for the university as well. I think we're matching the units as much as I can. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay. What I'm also gonna do, I'm gonna devote a little time there this week, and I'm gonna try to come up with a couple short videos that kind of explain those concepts as much as possible. At least one example, okay, that you can kind of model from. I'm not exactly how sure I'm gonna do it. I do have an Elmo at home, so I'll try that. But I also might just start off with this video camera on my phone and just do that. I've helped a couple students over the phone. They're already this way, and it worked out great. So I might just do that. Okay? So be looking for that. There'll be a couple posts, and that might help out as well. And if you already attempted or even looked at it and went through the notes and you tried it, that video is going to really help you out a lot. And you'll probably get it in one reading. If you haven't seen this at all, you might have to go through it a couple times. That's why it's going to be a video, and it's better than a live chat. Okay? Let's see. So also, in the meantime, a couple places to look online. Khan Academy, excellent resources. Not all the topics are covered the same way as I would, but you know what? You'll get a decent understanding of it. You could also just search it on YouTube. There's lots of different resources out there. Just type in your topic. You'll find something that kind of suits you. And not everyone has the same kind of learning style. The one I really like off of YouTube is Chemist Nate, and he has excellent resources. And he's got a lot of stuff for grade 11, but he's also got a lot of stuff for grade 12 and 13, or university at least. And it's a good opportunity to find that resource and find some key resources, because you will need to do some of this later on in post-secondary and even next year a little bit. So, okay, so that's that. So journal for this week with embedded in a couple pictures and of things that are going on. Surely you can share a picture of yourself or whatever, if that's up to your parents, obviously, and something maybe that some fun activity that you've done. Tell me a little bit about it. I'm interested to find out. And then also, if you're describe a little bit of what you've done to help each other. Okay, whether you've reached out and asked for help, or you have reached out and offered help, and I will make sure that everyone will get a reward, but especially those who are up to date, you'll get a special kind of reward of some sort for doing that. Okay? And that'll be the assignment for this week. It'll be due next Tuesday. And I want a little bit of feedback too. Okay? I want you guys to tell me how things are going. Okay? Because to a certain extent, it's hard to gauge. And I know what it is like to do online courses. I know what it is like to teach online courses, and they can be quite difficult. So we're going to make sure that we can sort it out together. Okay? All right. Have a great week, and check the post out. It has most of the stuff I mentioned in this video. Okay. Bye now.